Welcome to Old News, weekly ancient artifacts. I'm Nachliel Sullivan, the museum guy, and in this series we're going to explore connections between ancient artifacts and the weekly Torah reading. Together we'll embark on a journey of discovery, exploring the rich tapestry of history, art, culture, and the universal human experience. Hello and welcome to another episode of Old News, and today we're talking about Lech-Lecha and the Altar of Shechem. Lech-Lecha is the third Parasha, the third weekly reading of Bereshit, of Genesis, and in Lech-Lecha, Abraham enters the land of Israel, coming from Haran, which is today's Turkey, comes into Shechem and builds an altar for God, and continues in his sojourns throughout the land of Israel, and that's pretty much the story of Lech-Lecha. The city of Shechem is the entry point into the land of Israel for both Abraham, and Yaakov, Jacob. And that is also repeated with Joshua, when he enters the land, where there is a covenant that is made right in front of Mount Gerizim and Mount Ebal, where the covenant stresses a path of blessing and a path of curse. Har Gerizim and Har Ebal. Shechem is a place which is prone to disaster throughout Jewish history, whether it's the tragic story of Dinah or the sale of Joseph, or the splitting of the kingdom at the beginning of the First Temple period, where Yerovam actually established his capital in the beginning in Shechem. Shechem is trouble. In Sichem, there were excavations that were done by a German expedition, and they found there a beautiful structure, which you can visit some of it still today. There are several different layers. There's a very ancient structure. There's stuff that goes back to Neolithic. There's Bronze Age. There's Iron Age. Biblical Sichem, which is identified as Tel Balata. Tel Balata, which you can visit today, shows you the remains of a developed city in ancient times. And in the center of that is a very famous stone known as the Stone of Sichem. And that's not what we're talking about today. What we're actually going to talk about is the altar. What is so unique about the altar of Shechem? The altar of Shechem, which is understood to have been built by the Israelites as they entered the land of Israel. In other words, we've really made our presence in the land permanent. But what are altars for? Let me look that up. Nope, this is not what altars are used for, but altars have been found throughout the land of Israel going back thousands of years, but more notably in the Iron Age, where we find the four-horned stone altar that we are all familiar with, especially if you're familiar with the Mishkan, the desert tabernacle, or the Beit HaMikdash, the first and second temples in Jerusalem, who all had large horned altars. Horned altars made of stone are found throughout the land of Israel in the Iron Age, which is the time of the first temple period, and we see a gradual development in altars that are very simple, sometimes even just a pillar or an earthenware, a clay structure. The altar that was found in Shechem was unfortunately destroyed in the bombing of Germany in World War II, which is why we don't have it. All we have is some old photographs from the report on Tel Balata. However, we have many other examples of similar altars that are all over the country, and they're in museums around the world. One of the oldest Israelite stone altars that have been found in Israel is on Mount Ebal and is understood to be from the time of Ramses II, based on the names on seals that have been found in the location. So let's talk about the idea of altars in general. The use of altars varied, but they were mostly for offerings of different types, whether it is incense or libation, which is ketoret and nesech, or for animal offerings, korbanot, which are often mistranslated into English as animal sacrifices. And I'd like to wrap up with that idea of what exactly is a korban and what is the difference really between an offering and a sacrifice. This is a point made by Rabbi Samson Raphael Hirsch, and it goes as follows. The concept of korban comes from the Hebrew root karev, which means close. So the idea of offering really means to get close to God, or to bring ourselves close through an offering. There isn't a sacrifice, a giving up of something, but rather it is an elevation of something to bring us close to someone. And let's think about this concept. We can disagree about a lot of different things, but we all need to eat. We all have our basic needs, and we can all enjoy a good smell, a good taste, a good glass of wine, or maybe a glass of whiskey. However you like it, food and drink and smell are the most basic, common human needs that we can share. And that is why, until today, we break our bread with our friends and with our enemy. Eating together is sharing of the most basic human need, and that's a way of agreeing about something and using that agreement to even agree to disagree, for example. We can add to that the appreciation of biological evolution, in which life forms that are less developed in terms of their consciousness and awareness than human beings are serving to elevate the consciousness of humanity and to bring us karov, closer to God. So the bottom line is that altars are there to help us elevate those elements of our being, which are, and helping us perhaps alter our consciousness.